Welcome to another edition of the Caregivers Network podcast, the place where family and caregivers come together to learn, grow, and get supported. I'm Reggie Cunningham,
And I'm Marlon Phillips.
and each week we explore personal experiences to help us navigate and deal with the challenges of caregiving with confidence.
And whether you're supporting a loved one or working on the front lines, we just want you to know that we stand with you. And today's episode, Ebony and Kenny, Part 2. Welcome back.
Well, it's great to be back. Thank you for having us back.
Absolutely. Thank you all for having us again. We really appreciate it.
Wow, man, you guys are so energetic. Happy New Year, first of all.
Happy
Yeah.
New Year.
We're so glad to
Amen.
have you back. You were so good the first time around. We
Yeah.
definitely had to do a part two.
Yeah. Some of the things
Yeah.
that you said really resonated with me. And I'm going to ask a couple of questions in that regard, but also uh, the passion that you and Kenny had about sharing, your story with us. So much so that we're calling an episode of YouTube the Autistic Champions. That's the name of the episode. So this is the
Beautiful.
Autistic Champions or Champions of Autism Part 2.
Beautiful.
I love that.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I learned a lot from you all, and that's what this is all about. So, I mean, if you got a few moments, I had put down some notes. These are things I'm just going to ask you guys out of the first
Absolutely.
conversation.
Okay.
So last time we spoke, the kids were home for Christmas break.
Yes.
And I had asked the question, what is your daily routine? So now that the kids are back, what is the daily routine from the time you guys get up in the morning, get up and going? I just was interested to find that out on a regular day, like a school day today. So what's the normal routine?
So we wake up 5:30 in the morning. Okay. Well, I'll wake
Oh,
up 5:30 in the morning. Kenny kind of trickles in a little bit
Yes. Yes.
after.
Yes.
And we start the day. All six, what we do is we get Kiera and Tiana up first. They have curbside bus. The bus runs routine about 6:45, 6:40. Okay. So
okay.
we're working on getting our shoes and socks and getting dressed and then getting the one little snack in that they're going to get before we put them on the bus. Now that's two gone. After
Right.
that, about 7 o'clock to 7:30 is those other four. Okay, so they're
Okay.
getting dressed, and then we're getting them to the different schools. We've got one in middle school, one in elementary, one in middle school, one in high school. Well,
So is
I'm
that a
sorry,
bus route or you guys actually taking them to the different schools
We're
taken,
taking it.
taken.
collectively?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Um, and okay, so once we finally got them dropped off, hopefully by 8, with God,
Right.
by 8. Now we're speeding, of course, into our jobs,
Right.
our typical routines. Some good fresh time all the way up until 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, of course, is when we kind of get into picking up the kids. The kids have to be, Kiera and Tiana are the first ones dropped back off with us, curbside
Mhm.
bus. After that, we get them and then we go, drive and pick up the other ones. Sometimes it's divide and conquer. Sometimes it's, dad'll get all of them if I'm working late, vice
Right.
versa, you know, extracurriculars,
Okay.
depending on, we can only break it down 3 and 3. So our Jeremiah, he does football season, and what is it, cross country for Amaya. So those,
For track, you mean?
Yes.
yeah. So no,
Okay.
Jeremiah is in football. Amaya that's our oldest daughter.
Right.
She's in cross country and band. So
Wow.
yeah, so typically sometimes those practices are at 7 o'clock in the morning. So, that's why I was like, after we get Kiera and Tiana, our autistic ones, on the bus, it's time for us to immediately run and jump and to get them the extracurricular so that they're still allowed to participate in those extracurricular activities. Cross country, and then football, and then soccer with Josiah. So,
Wow.
that's after school, anytime between 4 o'clock to 5:30. Let's throw in games on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. This is football season. Also picking up Regina the baby from Girls Incorporated, because we found out that if we, of course, put them into things like Boys and Girls Club of Fort Smith or Arkansas, Girls Incorporated, then guess what? They can get those extracurriculars is there as well. As a matter of fact,
Wow.
their shuttle services
Mm.
pick them up from the schools and take them to the actual centers, which takes a little bit of load off me and Kenny as well, because
Yeah.
6 kids, 4 different schools, 2 parents, a lot of traffic, and a deadline to pick up. It's almost impossible. Okay?
Right.
Rely on your community. The Boys and Girls Club shuttle buses, Girls Inc. shuttle buses. Thank you so much for everything you do. They give them a snack. They get home. We typically like to pick everybody up about 5 o'clock, 5:30. If games don't stop that, of course, because we're out there with the games. Sometimes Kenny can go to one game, I can go to the other game. It's rare that we get to attend the game together and
Oh,
watch
wow.
them all together because of, the environment might overstimulate Tiana, who doesn't do well with a lot of people. So we can't bring her to a game. Somebody needs to stay home and watch the children who are overstimulated with anxiety. Okay. So now we're getting into 6 o'clock where we are working stations, sensory tracing, homework for, of course, the older ones, and throwing chores as well. Dinner is already done, okay, because by then it's in a crock pot, already waiting for them to be served after school, okay. We wrap everything up about 8 o'clock because the younger three, the 5, 6, and 7-year-old, they have to be in bed by 8:30, no late.
Wow.
The older ones from 8:30 to 9:30, that is their decompressed time, because being in a home with profound autistic children, it can be, it can be a little taxing. We want to make
Yeah.
sure we give them time to decompress from the day, from the caregiving with their siblings as well, and that they have time to, of course, talk to us about things that's been going on with them, like at school, and with friends, church, what's going on. Talk to me about your day. Homework. Don't come in here and tell me literally at 9:15 that you got a project that you need help on, because at this point, come 9:30 is when we both punch out. Okay.
I heard that.
We punch out
Wow.
9:30. Okay. After that, they're getting their showers and their baths, the older ones, because they can do that on their own. And they
Right.
can be in bed by 10 o'clock.
I'm exhausted
Wow.
just listening to you.
I'm telling you, I'm gassed just listening.
Well, that's just the typical day schedule. Let's not throw in, of course, extracurriculars that me and Kenny have our own personal interest.
Right.
I love being involved with the community. So, sometimes our game nights here at Spindle, I'll try to go to some of those. I will still be involved in the community, like at food pantries, passing out food, meetings that have things to do with what's going on political in our community. So we'll try to catch like a Blue Lions meeting. We went to one yesterday. That was at 6 o'clock to 7. It's constant scheduling, working in, working out, or calling a family member to make sure somebody is there with the children if we're going to be out of the house longer than 2 hours.
Wow.
So there's no cocktail hours for you two, huh?
Yeah, 9:30. 9:30.
But 9:30 at Ebony Kenny's bar, though.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Right.
and I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah,
Wow, that
the
is
time-
a schedule. So
Time
what
is
about on the weekend?
It's a little bit of a break because we don't have to make those deadlines with a bus picking them up or dropping them off, or homework that's on the weekends, unless like one of them have like a big project. So weekends are a lot more lax, but that's not as lax because with the 2 autistic ones, we continued, of course, their routines because they need those routines.
Wow.
So changing up breakfast for an hour could throw off Kira or Tiana majorly because they're so
Really?
those routines. And so it's a lot lighter, more lax, but we still operate like, okay, we've got to do sensory time, bath time here. We're relaxed. Everybody needs to be up by this time. If we're going on a family trip out of town to Tulsa or something, that changes it. But weekends are a lot more lax. We do what we like to take them outside more because they don't get their typical schedule from school. And
Mhm.
that bothers them. That affects them, which of course affects us. And so they like play sensory. They go outside. They like to climb, jump, play in sand, kinetic sand. Um, Kira is obsessed with phones, so she'll if you let her, she'll take your phone out your back pocket real quick, and you don't even know. A pickpocket. That's what it is. She's a little pickpocket. Okay. We try our hardest to limit on screen time. We try our hard. We're not perfect. We ain't perfect on it, but
Right.
games, video games, and stuff like that. We are your average typical family.
Mhm.
Well, nobody's perfect on
No.
screen time. Trust me.
No.
I truly understand. My daughter, she's I told you, I think that she was born her eyes wide open, and she's been nosy ever since. So if I'm
Yeah,
on the phone texting somebody, it's like, who you
yeah.
texting? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
Mhm.
constantly. And so yeah, I understand, but I want to commend you two for making sure that your older children have some personal times with you too, because
Mhm.
that's important.
Yeah.
You've got to deal with Kiera and Tiana, but the older children need, you in their lives also. And I know how difficult that is to juggle, you know.
Mhm.
So I
Wow.
commend you for that.
Hell
I
yeah.
know it's difficult.
So
Well,
what's
it's very difficult, but what makes it feasible is like anything else, good planning. Um, the fact that we have three who are interested in the sport, like for example, our oldest three, they have their extracurriculars typically the fall, August, all the way into when is football season over for Jeremiah and Kenny?
February? I mean, well,
November,
maybe
It's like
December.
November-ish for the
yeah,
high
around
school.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Thanksgiving.
yeah.
Yeah, for them, and then it's the same with Amaya. So we kind of break it down. We don't put them all into extracurriculars at the same time. There's no
Mhm.
way that we could do that. The first part is reserved for the interests of the older three, and then we get into the second semester where it's Regina, whatever extracurriculars we can find for Kiera, and then Josiah soccer. So it's kind of like we mix and match and line it up.
Wow.
It's not too much on us.
So what say you, Kenny?
Oh,
I mean,
his
she really mapped it out, perfectly.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go from the aspect or the perspective of somebody who hates schedules,
mm,
somebody who hates. So growing up, I've always hated schedules. I've hated time management. I was one of those go with the wind. Let me be, whatever I can
How'd you
do.
do that in the military?
Well, so for me, once my job was done in my unit anyway, Monday through Wednesday, you get up for PT. You got to be there at 6:30. You do your PT or you work out. Do your PT, you get done. You got to be back. Got to be back at 9 o'clock. So from nine to five ish, you work, you go home, just depending on whatever your job is. So
Mhm.
that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, we're gonna get off about 3. Friday, I've never worked until 5 on a Friday. For my unit in the military, it was go in, work in the morning, and then around the afternoon you watch a death by PowerPoint about drunk driving, things of that nature. Don't do anything stupid during the weekend. You're gone.
Right.
So when it came to weekends, I always had my weekends. I was always free. And so, I it was easy for me back then, just to move around, do whatever it is I wanted to do. I've always been really big on controlling my time. That was always a really big thing to me. I'd rather have the time. I'd rather have my time than have a lot of money. Even to
Mhm.
this day, I'm still kind of that person. So 6 children later, and you know, th- there is, don't get me wrong, there's absolutely um, a benefit in time management. There's absolutely a benefit in setting schedules, To me, when it comes to caregiving, I feel like both of you could understand this perfectly. I think time kind of becomes conditional, in a sense. Everything is just based off of regulation, it's based off of prevention, making sure that you don't, making sure you can prevent as many hiccups as possible, especially, when you go into public. You know, nobody ever thinks about, especially from a public standpoint, nobody ever thinks about the pre-planning and the preparation that we have to do.
Yeah,
Everybody just kind of focuses on the hiccups, if they start
yeah,
stimming or
interesting. Because I was going
and
to ask Ebony, so when you said the meals, so do you prepare meals? You guys, can you get together, prepare the meals on Saturday and Sunday for the whole week? Or you two are the crock pot king and queens of getting stuff done for everybody around dinner time, like you said.
Yeah,
it
so
it
this
depends.
it just depends. Yes. It really kind of depends. We work really well together. So typically I'm the planner. I'm the organizer.
I'd have never guessed that.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, hey, Kenny, you got to know your lane, dude. You got to
Hey,
know your lane.
and I'm completely fine with it.
'Cause, yeah, like he said, typically he hates schedules and
Oh, I do.
we used to clash so much when it came to this because I'm
Yeah,
all about the schedule. I'm all about the routine. I need to have it all planned out. I have to.
Yeah.
It brings me comfort to know that way if I focus on the big things and that's planned out, the other things that people don't have to deal with, or those little hiccups, I can focus and adapt and adjust to
Mhm.
those a lot easier if the foundation is set. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So I can tell you what we're having for lunch literally next Wednesday. That's there's a
No,
menu.
no, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah, there is literally a menu, and I won't act like I do this all on my own, guys. We have the children when it comes to dinner. That's a mom's biggest anxiety, what we're eating for dinner, especially because sometimes we got to make two dinners on account of sensory and texture issues, you know.
Mhm.
Let's make this easy and fun. You guys write down your favorite meals, put on a piece of paper. They put them into a jar. We pull them out of the
Oh,
jar.
wow.
Yeah, we
Nice,
pull them out of the
nice,
jar. Yeah, we pull them
nice.
out of the jar. What we eating
Wow.
today?
Yeah.
We eating corn dogs, mashed potatoes, and green beans. Thank you. Looks like we pull out another one. It says "Fend for yourself day." It means we're gonna eat whatever's in the refrigerator. I pull out another one. Now, our oldest daughter, we eat mighty crab. Unfortunately, that got vetoed. Okay, so yeah, that was a veto. I get it. She had to shoot her shot. She shot her shot by putting mighty crab into there. Nevertheless, that was not it. And then
Challenges, challenges.
challenges and challenges, and we'll have them pick literally one of their meals, and then we'll add one of our favorite dishes as well.
Wow, okay.
And for yourself days, so that equals out legit one extra meal than what I have. And then some days, depending on what's in the refrigerator, Kenny will it might just be grilled chicken all week.
I
Because that's something that every single one of us, I believe in working harder, not I'm working smarter, not harder.
not harder.
So
Yeah, yeah.
we all eat grilled chicken. It's really healthy, nutritious
Oh,
for
yeah.
you. Kenny will smoke it, grill it, saute it.
You gotta fry it.
He don't
I
eat no
hate fried chicken.
fried chicken.
I
Ah,
hate fried
Wait,
chicken.
you hate fried chicken?
There we
I
go.
hate
Get on
fried
him.
chicken.
Get on
Yeah,
him.
no.
I
What?
Get
do
on.
not like fried chicken.
Yeah.
You know
I was
what?
born.
If
I
we
was
went on
born
a
in this.
podcast, I have a couple of words for you.
Yeah,
That's
man.
all right though, because
Oh
this is
yeah.
what I've had to deal
I
with for
do
11
not like.
years.
I do not like fried chicken.
I mean, it typically that part because it's not. That's why I'm loving that he said that because now you guys understand that it's more than just one meal that has to be made in order for the entire. I'm old school, okay? I'm old
So
school.
what's your fetish with a non-fetish for fried chicken, Kenny?
I don't like the texture of it.
Oh wow.
Grease in general bothers my stomach real bad. I have gastritis,
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
and
okay.
so grease in general are just really heavy foods. Really, really bother my stomach. And so,
Man, my grandmother would say, just keep eating that chicken and everything will straighten itself out.
oh yeah, nah.
I'm
No.
being cynical,
And
but
when I tell you it, So growing up, I was really small, and I was one of those people that I missed a lot of meals just based off of what was cooked. So my mom was the, hey, if you don't eat what I cook, you're just not eating.
Yeah. Now I grew
So
up and I see that if you're
and
not there when the food is served, you might get left out.
and so she
Yeah.
was the lasagna, chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, cornbread. So all the things that I do not like eating. I do not like Southern food. I was raised in the South.
Yeah.
I mean, I was born in the South, and personally, I think somebody took me from the North, and put me in the South. But I do not like Southern food.
I don't know
And
what to do with them.
I really don't.
This was
I mean,
adapting for me too. This was like, okay, I don't know what to feed it. I don't know.
no,
It's
I
a
could
husband.
I could eat I could eat. I'm one of those. I could eat steak, chicken breast, asparagus, some type of vegetable, or
So
I can.
I guess the first time you took Kenny home, like, where's this guy from?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Listen, I love my juicers. I love my smoothies.
I hear you. I hear you.
I'm one of those.
We
I can
learn
eat
from each
all
other
the
though.
above.
We do. We've learned from, just like with, even with our autistic children, we've learned how to eat different and try different foods. I thought
Things. Yeah.
we had one of our children who for a second thought that she was going to be a vegetarian. I'm okay, that's less meat that I got to cook at this
There
point.
you go.
I got
See,
so much stuff coming at me, I'm not even going to argue with you about it.
that's
Okay,
the right approach, Ebony. That
yeah.
mindset is
All
what we need to be
right,
sure. Say, no, not a problem. We can
give
work
me
that
your
out.
pork chop. Put your
Yeah.
pork chop on my plate. All right,
All I
Mhm.
gotta
give
say
me that,
is,
Yeah.
Kenny,
Yeah.
give me
you
that
just a
rib.
different kind of brother. That's all I got to
Yes,
say.
sir. Very different. Very different.
That,
I do not. I really don't like pork. So like pork chop, I can't stand
Oh
pork
no,
chop.
no pork either.
not
I
pork eater.
don't. I don't care for pork at all. And it's not like a religious thing. I just don't. It bothers my stomach.
You don't
Okay,
like
well, that's
bacon?
fair. I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
What'd you say?
You
I
don't
said
like
that's
bacon either?
fair.
I like turkey bacon.
Oh,
Okay, okay.
no.
I like
So,
turkey bacon.
wow.
And he's not a pasta person. So it's like
No,
I said,
not a
when you
possible.
say dinner, it gives me a different sort of anxiety when we talk about dinner at the Greens.
I,
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out what in the world do you cook for this man?
Okay. So he'll,
That was a
he'll,
rhetorical question. You don't need to ask
You
that.
have to ask
You, you got to deal with that.
But in my
Uh,
rhetorical mind, I'd say, yeah,
yeah,
chicken
I
breast and
gotta get very
asparagus.
creative. I gotta get very creative when it comes to here to make sure at least there's something for everyone to eat. And then I'm not gonna lie, there's days where I'm like, you know what, y'all figure it out, y'all make a sandwich.
I
Okay.
hear you.
Y'all go figure that out because
So I don't want to dwell on that too much because I had a couple follow-on questions, and
okay, go
this is
ahead.
the second follow-on question. When is the last time that you two have gone on a vacation with just you two, just the two of you?
That's a big one right there. Okay. So
Wow.
yeah,
Okay, that long, huh?
how long?
Dude,
Wow.
it's hard. It's hard. Like I remember because of my daughter cannot be left alone for extended periods of times by herself.
yes.
She was always with us.
Yes.
The
Mhm.
only time we had some time alone, and I can't remember of it being overnight, is when we had family,
Mhm,
right? And around, and we could do that. We can go do something.
mhm,
Even when my father was sick and after my wife had died, our teacher was always with me. And when he was starting to transition and we went down to visit him, my sisters told me literally, and at that point it had been like 6 months, look, we got our teacher, go take some time for yourself. And that was the only time that I can recall being away from her, for any extended period of time. That was over a weekend, you
Right.
know.
And
So
Here's
and
my
yeah, so I understand. I truly
yeah,
understand.
yeah.
It's hard,
yeah,
especially when you get two nonverbal daughters.
mhm.
yeah.
Nobody knows your life because
Hmm.
they're not in it day to day. They don't see what you go through. And
Right.
so for somebody to take them for just overnight, it's a major chore.
Mhm.
Not only
Mhm.
that, but it's also outside of their comfort zone in that that's not their routine. They're not used to that,
Mhm.
you know? So
Well, I
it's
was
kind of different.
to your point, Reggie, and I was going to ask you guys this also. So, Reggie, having said that, Ebony and Kenny, are you guys, or do you think you would have anxiety if somebody had the kids overnight and you could just actually get away and relax and know that they're in good hands?
So
Not
I was
necessarily
gonna
in good hands, you, but would you be comfortable enough so you're not calling every hour or
right.
just,
So
how do you
I
feel?
was actually gonna say, for me personally, the idea of what we would call like a standard vacation, it kind of stresses me out a little bit. Even when we do have little moments to ourselves, it never feels like it never feels peaceful. I'm
Mhm.
always on hyper alert.
Always scared.
There's
Yeah.
always in my mind there's something is going to happen. And
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I feel like and I can only speak for myself when I say this. I feel like I've kind of conditioned myself to not really enjoy things, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It really
To
makes sense.
always,
That's why I asked the
yeah,
question.
yeah,
Because I
just
mean, even if somebody puts you in a position, you two have to feel, I would suspect, comfortable that the person you're going to leave them with is going to be able to manage and care for them
mhm,
to some extent the way you guys do. So you're not just worried about what's going on back at the ranch. Does that
Right.
make
Exactly.
sense?
exactly,
That's
exactly.
definitely me. I'm
And
I'm more worried that, okay, can I leave them with you? You know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, can I
That's what I
leave
was
them
going to
with
talk
you?
about, because Marlon hasn't had to experience that. But as a father, your little girl,
Yeah,
whatever situation she is, you want to know that she is going to be safe and is
Mhm.
around good people.
exactly.
And, growing up in this world, in this day and age, there are predators out there. So you're always vigilant about protection,
Mhm.
and you're never really comfortable, in somebody else's presence. You know, and you're going to do whatever you need to do to take care of your child, and you're not going to hurt your child, but you don't
Right.
know anybody else. And,
Right.
I don't know about you, Kenny, but I know, if I had to catch a case, I was going to catch a case to
Oh,
protect my
absolutely.
child.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
1000%. And even from if we take it, a little lighter, say if a family member has them or
Mhm.
something along those lines. In my mind, I'm thinking to myself the whole time, okay, I'm gonna get some type of call to deal with something. So,
Mhm.
that's gonna take away from the experience. Um, I feel like I feel like I need to hurry. I feel like I'm always, kind of hurrying up, that way, whoever it is that's watching the child, actually, I guess it is. I don't think many people have the capacity that we have, kind of going back to that emotional capacity thing.
Yeah.
And because of that, it makes me feel like, okay, I need to whatever we're gonna do, let's hurry up and do it. And if I'm being completely transparent, it's
Mhm.
it's more okay, let me make sure Ebony gets some time to do what Ebony needs to do and give her some um oh what's the word? Give her some decompression and
Me time.
hopefully yeah some type of decompression and
Right.
hopefully she gains something from that and we hurry up and get back so that we're not being a burden.
Mm-hmm.
i'm
Right.
i'm, I'm always feeling like we're being a burden to somebody if they're watching
Right.
the kid.
Wow.
Well,
Yes.
you know what? You made me remember something, Kenny, because I had to take back what I just said. I do remember one time, my wife Candace and I got away, and
Right.
then this was some 30 years ago. Artesia was a toddler, and her brother was like an infant, and my sister was going to watch them for a weekend while
Yeah.
we got away. My wife is a lot like Ebony. She was a planner, so she planned a trip
Mhm.
to uh, Kansas City, as a matter of fact. And so we flew to Kansas City, got to see the Buffalo Soldier exhibit at
Okay.
the fort there.
Right.
Well, actually, we didn't get to see that. We went to have some barbecue first, and then
Mhm.
that night we got a call. My daughter was sick,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and we had to fly back that morning,
Yeah.
the
Mm.
next morning. To your point, and we saw the Buffalo Soldier exhibit like at 6 o'clock in the morning before our flight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Wow.
that's the stuff that we went through. That's the last time I remember us getting away, before Candace passed by
Mhm.
No, that was
ourselves
my
anyway.
that was my just my question about you two feeling comfortable enough to leave them in someone's care. And
Right.
I'm just trying to rationalize that in my mind. I got a son, but he used to live with his mother. But when he used to come visit me for the summers as an infant and young, when he was with me, I didn't want to let him go. I found a daycare, so I could get to the office and stuff. But
Right.
thank God it worked out. But I had a lot of anxiety initially, leaving him with somebody else,
Right.
and I don't think I got over it in as much as I got comfortable with the person that was taking care of him. So I can
Right.
certainly appreciate that. But the other thing that I was asked as follow on is that if you could go somewhere, where would you go? Where would you two go together if you could go somewhere? Where would y'all like to go?
I don't want this to
Just
come
for two or
off.
3 days, just for 2 or 3 days or a
Okay. I
weekend.
don't.
Where would you like to
Right.
go?
I don't want this to come off as dark or sad or any of that when I say this.
No, not at all.
So so for me, and again, this is me. It's very hard for me nowadays to enjoy things. I think I've
Mhm.
kind of conditioned myself to be comfortable with not, not going out, not, having fun or what people call fun. And I think I've I've conditioned myself to enjoy things in the house.
Mhm.
If I get some time by myself to sit down and research, I'm in the psychological field, so I'm always reading some type of peer review or something along those lines. Um, Going outside and and just enjoying the fresh air.
But
So for
Kenny, I don't hear sadness in you. You know what I hear,
no,
Kenny?
no, 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 no. It's
No,
in
no, no.
in
I'm
it,
just making a parallel. I don't hear sadness or anything. I hear commitment.
no, yeah,
I hear
absolutely,
commitment
absolutely,
to your family and your kids. So,
absolutely,
no, not at all. You just
right. So
expressing. But yeah, that's
mhm,
definitely true commitment, and so much so that I get joy out of it to the extent that I can. So,
right,
kudos,
yeah.
kudos.
And then like just thinking about your question. For example, say if we were able to, I don't know, take a vacation on the beach or whatever.
Right.
The For me, kind of going back to what I was saying a little earlier, the whole time I'm just not gonna enjoy myself. I'm gonna be thinking about the kids. I'm gonna be thinking, okay, Tiana has picked up this huge appetite, and so she's constantly coming with a bowl, and she's walking to somebody. Is whoever it is watching the kids, do they actually have the capacity to actually get up,
Mhm. Yeah.
and get them something to eat, and make sure that a Kiera doesn't come up. Kiera, I love her to death. She's a bully. Is Kiera gonna come and take some of Tiana's food, and nobody's watching? And then now the person who's watching my child is irritated because she's just got up
Oh,
to go
I
do
hear
it.
you. How are they
You
going to
know,
deal with that? I hear you.
exactly. Yeah, to me, it's the small little nuances that go with them that I'm just not gonna have fun. Now, with that being said, I will go, but it's always more for Ebony than me. For me, I'm more at peace when I'm at home and I
Mm.
have control over what it is that's going on. I I will say at the same time, I know that there's a delicate balance within there that I'm still trying to find out because I do having Kira and Tiana has for me has created a control problem.
Mhm.
In a sense that I'm as I grow older, I feel like I'm getting better at kind of teeter-tottering and balancing out. But I am at my most comfortable, and I'm at peace when everybody is laying down, everybody is asleep, and I have a little bit of time to myself, and if Ebony have or if we have some time to ourselves, and
Got
we're
that big
watching a
bowl of
movie.
vanilla ice cream in bed with chocolate
Yes,
syrup on
that
it
that
and
is
water.
that is completely fine with me.
I
But you,
hear that. Wow.
One thing you said that resonated with me, and we had a guest on earlier who talked about caring for um, a parent with dementia, and she said it's a balancing act.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Everything is a balancing act, and that's exactly what you explained. It's not just about control, but it's also about knowing what's going on so that you can, I guess, react quickly in case
Yes,
something, happens. Yes,
absolutely.
yeah. So I understand that, and sometimes you just, you know, it's just more peaceful knowing what's going on so you don't have to worry
Mhm.
about everything because you know where everybody is. And I'll
Yeah,
tell you, and I'll share this with Marlon right now, you never stop worrying about your children. No
yeah,
matter
Mhm.
how old they get, you never stop
yeah,
worrying. But for
yeah,
you, Ebony and Kenny, it does start to get a little bit easier, especially when the older children get a little bit older and they can help out more with Kiana and Tiara. So
right.
it gets a little bit easier, but you never stop worrying. And I think my dad worried about me until his dying day. So
I
Oh,
swear.
I fully believe it. Reggie, let me ask you this question because this could be a me thing. When people say fun, does the concept of fun to you look the same as most people, as most normal people?
no, I can't really say fun because when I was in your position, it was all about making sure I did the things to take care of the family, putting food on the table, a roof over their head, clothes on their back, right?
Yeah,
And doing whatever he could to make sure the utilities were paid or whatever else. And so I was, always running. And so I never
Yeah.
really like had that fun. But I
right.
tell you, at this stage, um, I seek out opportunities to enjoy myself for a couple of different reasons. After losing my wife and raising my kids, and they were always saying, "Well, no need to ask daddy because he's always going to say we don't have any money." I learned that I got to enjoy some of life. I got to do some of the things that brings me joy. Like we went to Africa,
Mhm.
which was one of
Beautiful.
my goals to go to Africa.
Beautiful.
Um, and last February, I went to Vietnam, with one of my cousins. And
Beautiful.
that gave me the opportunity to sit down and reflect and think
Mhm.
about what it is that I want going forward. Um, so yeah, I do have some fun, but I take it in bits and pieces. Sometimes it's just challenging. And so, you had talked about before that I'm living your worst nightmare. Uh,
Absolutely.
there are other challenges too that you have to deal with. Like, I had told you about the experience of setting a
Yes.
gynecological appointment with my
Yes.
daughter. Well,
Yeah.
today, even, you know, she started her period,
Right.
and she didn't tell anybody. And I'm getting ready, to take her to camp,
Yeah.
and yet, things are not as quite the way they should have been, and so we had to start all over again,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So, it's still a challenge. And
Absolutely.
this is not, I mean, this is something that she knows to, hey, I'm on my period. And she does, she's not modest, dad, I'm on my period or whatever. But she didn't do that today. And I don't know why. So there's always different challenges, but
Mhm.
And
sometimes it's difficult. Like today was kind of a difficult day,
right.
but you roll with the punches and you keep going. Tomorrow will be better,
Absolutely.
tomorrow
Um,
will be better. And that's all I got
The
to do.
other thing too is that you guys also have six adolescent personalities to manage as well. I was wondering
One is
how does
bad
that work?
enough.
You guys got six.
absolutely.
So yeah, the
Um,
teenagers, they definitely, and I'm gonna say this, to be honest, to speak my whole truth right now, those teenagers are a lot harder to deal with than than both of my autistic my autistic profound girls.
Now,
Right.
I hear you.
I'll
Yeah.
take them. I'll take them.
how old are your kids?
So I got a 5-year-old, Gina.
Right, right,
6 is Tiana,
right.
autistic child. 7
Okay,
is Kiera, autistic number 2.
okay,
Oh, I'm sorry, Kiera 7. I apologize about
okay.
that. And then we have Josiah, who's at 11, Amaya, who's at 12, and then Jeremiah, who's at 14.
Ooh, boy.
Mhm. So we got a teenager, we have and then 2 pre-tweens. And it's like I said, I'll take the littler ones any day. I'll take those little problems. I'll take as many messes, as many breaking of whatever it is, any little cleanups that I've got to do, meltdowns, sensory comment. I'll take that any and every day,
I hear you.
or
I
7.
hear you.
You know, one of the blessings though is, having my son Austin
Mhm.
is that he grew up being more compassionate because of the challenges for his sister, you
Mhm.
know, and that made me feel good. That really made me
Yeah,
feel good. And Marlon to tell you, he told me some things. We had him on the podcast too, and
yeah,
he told us
interesting.
some things that I never knew of. Like having to defend his sister when somebody
At
said
school.
something
Yeah.
negative about her,
Absolutely.
you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so,
I
Have you
deep
guys
down in
have
it,
you
this
guys
is like
experienced
20,
that
30
too?
years later. I'm proud of him because he
Yeah,
took up for his
yeah.
sister.
Mhm.
I'm tearing up now because just thinking about that. And
yeah, no, our children are
His
very
comment to
talented.
us was somebody made some disparaging remarks or comments about his sister. And he just took him to task. That's all,
Right.
regardless of what situation. You can't talk to and about my sister like that. So
Absolutely.
that was very commendable.
Mhm.
As a
Absolutely.
matter of fact, that we named the episode, Austin's love for his sister.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah,
Some with with the teenagers or the older three, I should say.
It's those that.
There's when you were talking about personalities,
right.
one thing that I worry about a lot, and this was it's a statement slash question, that I have. For example, take my oldest daughter. My oldest daughter, she loves responsibility. She's very compassionate. Um, I would say out of all my kids, she's definitely the leader of
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
pack, you know. She's the one that I could definitely see if something were to happen to one of us that, would take the reins of it. Now, when it comes to the boys, on the other hand, I think the boys, if I'm just being completely transparent, I think the boys absolutely love Karen Young. I don't think that the boys have the have the capacity to really deal with a lot. They're patient, yes, but when they're older, I don't see if they, and of course, they're still young and they're still developing and maturing and things of that nature. I feel like if they were to continue on the path that they are, especially my oldest, I don't see him so much as being the how can I say this? I don't see him really taking up the reins. One thing that I've noticed, and we spoke about this a little bit offline, was that my oldest, he shies away from leadership. He shies away from authority. He's the role player. He wants to know what is it that he needs to do. What are the tasks for him to do that day? He's going to do that. If you need him, he's here. But he's not the guy to to take initiative. And so sometimes, and I'm getting to the question. I apologize. It's so long. I'm stretching this out. Sometimes I feel like I can't really, what's the word? Sometimes I feel like I can't really relate to him. I've always been, I've always been the head. Even in my cousins, my friends, just in general, I've always been the person, that take responsibility. I've always been the mediator per se. I've always been able to take a lot of emotional tasks. My emotional capacity for things is very high. whereas he's the complete opposite. And Reggie, when it came to your son, do you feel like he naturally um how can I say this? Do you feel like he naturally loves to take on the task of your daughter, or do you feel like it's something that he kind of had to grow he kind of had to grow to just do?
Um,
If I'm
it
making
I never wanted him to grow into be me.
sense.
Which is one reason why I didn't name him after me. I wanted him to be his own authentic person,
Absolutely.
but I kind of know that I raised him like I was raised. And I think I told you that, my father, once told me that he wanted me to grow up and be a man. I can't remember if I told you or told somebody else that.
Right. Mhm.
And when my mom was killed and we had an altercation a year or two later, not an altercation, we had a disagreement.
Right.
And
Right.
I told my dad I thought he should do something, and he looked at me with the slightest eyes and said that he never would have disrespected his father the way I disrespected him.
Mhm.
Right.
And it wasn't my intent to disrespect him. So I had to tell him that, as much as I love my father, I said, Dad, I didn't mean to disrespect you, but you never told me you wanted me to grow up to be a man to everybody in the world but you. And, so a lot of that came out in my son. I changed some things. And so I raised him to do a couple of things. One, to be his own man, to make his own decisions. And, two, not to follow anybody because in our community that would get you in a whole lot of trouble.
Trouble. Oh
Um,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Most
and
absolutely.
so to think for himself, and that's what I wanted the most. I wanted him to think for himself, but I also, raised him like, family is family, because that's what I was raised with. Your family is your family. When
Right.
everything is said and done, they're going to be the ones that are going to be stand by you, and you need to
Right.
stand by your family. And this is your sister, so you have to, stand by and protect your sister because she
Mhm.
can't do it for herself.
Right.
Hmm.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I kind of raised him to be, more of a leader. I'm glad he, took the reins and started venturing out because he's done some things that I never would have done, you know?
Right.
Like, he moved away from home. His first job ended up being in Michigan. We're down here in Memphis. So he moved away and, had his own apartment, for a while. And, when he did that, he never asked me for any money,
Mhm.
you know? And
And
so,
that's
but I
beautiful.
kind of raised him that way, because when he wanted some other stuff, I would say, we don't have any money, but we always made sure he did some extra curricular things
Hmm.
because he was responsible for taking care of his sister when they were out of school. And it was kind of crazy because when we lived in Chicago, they were in two different school systems, and neither one of them had the same, off days. One would be off one week, the other one would be off the next week. And then when
Hmm.
we moved to Tennessee, they had the same off days. And so he became the caretaker of his sister at that
Right.
time, right? While we were working.
Right.
And so I think uh, it's a combination of things that help him to become the man that he is, compassion for, for others, to think for himself,
Mhm.
you know. He didn't used to like to come to me and ask me for anything. But he comes to me and asks me my opinion.
Mhm.
Then he still make a decision. That's kind of what I wanted.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and that's beautiful. So that sounds like my daughter. Like for example, if I'm always giving, I'm somebody that's always trying to speak life into my children. I love asking them questions. Just different life questions to kind of see where their mindset is, and things of that nature. And how what you just described is my oldest daughter. I mean, to the T. She, when I tell you, in my personal opinion, I believe that people who don't embrace responsibility become poor people. And I don't
Hmm.
even mean just from a financial standpoint, just in general. I believe that responsibility is what is the key to just unlocking the that successful mindset, in my personal opinion.
Mhm.
My oldest son, on the other hand, he is the exact opposite. He is the listen, I don't want he will never disrespect you. You know, he's very respectful. But when it comes to responsibility, when it comes to say, caretaking in general, there's a you can tell with him there's a line.
I hear you.
There's a line there for him, and then it's like, okay, let me get away.
Yeah.
And
Well, I'm in an uncomfort zone, if you will.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
and I'm learning. I'm sorry, Amy, and I'm trying to learn how to currently parent him in a way that could show him that, hey, these family, like you said, family is family, no matter what obstacles we have. Family is important.
Right.
Responsibility leads to success. Just these things. And I think sometimes, especially on my side, our family is very scattered.
Hmm.
We kind of love each other from the distance.
Hmm.
I'm the oldest. Um, I have a brother that, we talk here and there, not really. Um, Same thing with my sisters. So, I can say these things, and this is kind of where my son gets this from me. You can say all these nice, proverbs and parables and all these things, to me. But if I'm not seeing it, from a practical
Tangible.
standpoint
It's
from
not tangible, then
you,
it doesn't make
yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. To
Yeah,
me, you're
yeah.
just talking. And I think sometimes with him, if I'm being transparent, I think sometimes with him, whereas, with Amaya, I can say this and it's like, okay, this is dad. I respect what he's saying. My son, on the other hand, is like, okay, dad, I hear what you're saying. However, I've seen my uncle maybe 5 times in my life, if that. I've seen my aunts maybe a couple times in my life, but
Right.
you're sitting there telling me that family is everything, make this make sense to me. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to teach him. I'm trying to find the words to this day from a practical standpoint on how I can prove to him family is important, and like I keep saying, responsibility and caretaking when necessary is important. And I
But
I don't have those
Kenny, I
words yet.
think listen, if you I think you might be underestimating your son and how he pays attention to what you two are doing.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And he just might not be able to, maybe just because of his age right now, express it. But I think he pays very close attention to the family life, because you guys are a close-knit family. One, because you have to be, and secondly, because God ordained it so. There's no in between. It's like when I grew up, my father used to tell us all the time, what go on in this house
Right.
stays in this house. Okay. That was the family unit that as you went out, nobody can make comments about our family because they didn't live in our house with us.
mhm.
So to
Mm.
your point, I think your son, yeah, adores the hell out of you guys and what you're doing, because we are an exceptional family just because of who we are. So
Mhm.
I mean,
Oh, so
don't be so hard on yourself. I think that he
Um,
is going to kind of come around and blossom because of just who you are. You
yeah.
okay.
know,
And I'm
yeah.
going to go as far as to say, I completely disagree with that, what he says. I think that when it comes to our children, now Amaya, she's very, very, very responsible, but she's also mean. She can be, she's mean.
I,
No, I'm going to completely lay it out. Amaya, if you ask me what child is the most responsible child in the house, Amaya is the oldest daughter. She's going to make sure she's going to tell the boys their chores, remind them to get up and do it. She's going to remind to feed the girls. She's going to remember. She's a control. She has that
right.
control. She can delegate. She can order them around. She's a natural born
Sound
leader.
like she got that from her daddy.
Yeah, good.
Mama too. I
She is
see
a
a project
natural
manager in the
that part.
making.
I
Yeah.
hear you. There you go.
Amaya is a project manager. She could manage our entire house if we let her. If we took it, if we did not, if we gave her the reins, she would tell everybody what to do, and she would know how to tell everybody what to do. But she'd be mean about it.
Mhm.
Jeremiah, he lacks the responsibility, but he has the compassion,
Mhm.
and the patience. Amaya has no patience. notes. So like when I watch them interact with Kiera, for example, that's a 7-year-old profound autistic child. Jeremiah and Kiera are like this. You can't separate them. They are always close to each other. They're in the room, they're watching TV together, they're watching the same videos. She likes to turn up YouTube all the way to 100 for some reason and watch her little school. I don't know why it has to be turned to 100, but it does, you know? And she wants to watch the exact same little K-pop part of the song over and over and over and
Mm-hmm.
over and again. And you know, whereas the rest of the house, that it drives them crazy. Jeremiah sits there right in the room with her, gives her the remote control, and lets her do exactly that. And he's fine. And he's chill. He's okay with it. And he's more like when it comes to the fact that, you know, she's a climber. And so when Kiera wants a snack, it's different than what every other child, a typical normal child wants a snack. She sees a snack, she's going to go get the snack and she's going to climb over, jump over, whatever it is in order to get to it. Okay. There's no keeping her from it. All right.
Yeah.
Jeremiah will be the one to actually think ahead and put up the snack somewhere differently or hide them in the backpack or something like that to keep her from getting to the snack so that she doesn't get in trouble. You know, when he hears our tone and we're up like, Kiera, you know, who did this or something like that. He is the one that's watching for Kiera, you know. He's doing the con things. I'm gonna sit down and show her the buttons to play on the PlayStation 5 so that she knows how to play it because she's got an interest now for the PlayStation 5 from bonding with her brother. Amaya is going to do it, but because one, she feels, I think she feels a connection or a more, I'm the older sister and I need to do this. Whereas Jeremiah, when it comes to interacting with Kiera, I don't mind. I want to do this. This doesn't get on my nerves. This isn't annoying.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna share something with you too, and this is just observations of life. All right. First off, Kenny, I want you, you know, make sure you give yourself some grace. Things change, and your children will surprise you a lot of the times.
Yeah.
A lot of this is gender related. Boys don't tend to care a whole lot about anything at this stage in their life at 14, 15. It's all about them. And girls are just more action oriented. You know, things matter more to them. They mature a whole lot faster. They're a lot more mature at that age. So, what I would suggest, and I'm no expert by any means, what I found that worked for me is to always try to feed the talents and interests of my children. Austin, I saw at a very early age, he was talented with numbers. So I tried to feed that. When I was trying to teach Artesia at 5 years old how to count regularly, and Austin was sitting there next to her doing the same thing and would go, "Oh, this is easy." So I was like, "Oh, okay, let me give you some multiplication skills." He's 4 years old at that time, and he was able to do simple multiplication. I'm like, okay, engineer in the making. You know, something along those lines. Let me feed that. Let me encourage that. Let me challenge him more. And the more I challenged him, the better he got at different things. But he was a typical kid like everybody else. So, you know, but I always wanted to feed that stuff. And so that's one reason why I always fed him that at some point you're going to have to watch out for your sister because your mom and I am not going to be here. And I don't worry about it right now, but you have to have in the back of your mind at some point you're going to be responsible. And you know, it got to the point that even when he graduated college, you know, he didn't want to go away to the job in Michigan because he was concerned about his sister. And I had to like, no, you go live your life. You do what you need to do first. When the time comes, then you'll figure out what you need to do for your sister. Right? And so that's all I can suggest is, you know, make sure you feed their talents and their interests, and then, you know, everything else is, you know, a workout.
Everything else will fall right in place.
Yeah, you know, a plan to come into place. You know, it's more important that you and Ebony are on the same page and building a plan for the care and the care of the family if something happens to one or both of you. You know, what
Right.
happens? That's more important than worrying about him taking care of his sister because it already sounds like listening to Ebony, he's going to take care of his sister.
Oh yeah. 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 Yeah.
Lemony.
I'm gonna
They're
follow on
gonna,
with go ahead, Ebony.
yeah. So what I think when it comes to the structure of our family, I feel like every single one of the four who are not autistic or not profound, they are going to step up into their own lane of taking
Right.
care of Kiera and Tiana. I think it's going to be in me how I hope it will play out, and I think it will. Is each one of them are going to use their talents, that they're their own individual talents, to take care of their siblings.
Hmm.
I think, Ebony, I feel you on that because I listened to the passion that you guys express in your conversation with us. So I can imagine how passionate you are with your kids. And I wouldn't take that for granted. I think it's going to be exactly like you said, that when they get a little older, they're going to do their own thing, but I don't think they're going to forget their two sisters and
Right.
certainly appreciate you. That's just
And at this
my
stage in
opinion.
your lives, I think the most important thing is that one, you show the passion for caring for your autistic daughters and the love that you have in the family. I think that's going to overrule
Oh yeah,
everything, and they're going to always revert back to that. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you're doing
yeah.
an amazing job. It's a challenging job. I don't know how you all are
I
doing
swear.
it.
I mean,
I'm
I'm
struggling
gonna
with one who's
Hey,
an
listen,
adult.
you guys must know something about 27, 28 hours in a day.
Yeah,
'Cause I
yeah.
know.
So, so give yourself some grace. It's going to work its way out. Always, as long as you all have that love,
Yeah,
in the family and it display that, the children catch more than they're taught.
really.
Mhm.
They
They're paying
really do.
attention when you don't think they are.
Yeah,
They do.
they're taking notes. They're taking
Oh,
mental
yeah.
notes, regardless
They,
of what you say. They hear what you say, but they'll see what you do.
they do.
That's a good point.
Even the youngest, Gina, the 5-year-old, she mirrors, and she's Kiera and Tiana's favorite second mom. And that's all
Hmm.
I'm gonna say with that one. She is
Yeah.
the second mom when it comes to Kiera and Tiana. Oh, Titi, no, don't do that. Where you going? Titi, come back over
Yeah,
here.
see,
Titi,
see.
it's time for us to go eat. So she gonna grab her hand and she gonna drag her over there to the table and sit her down and make sure it's time for her to eat. She's gonna they each and every single one of our children, Kiera and Tiana included, they have a love for each other.
Absolutely.
And
So I want to just say this before we close, because I got a hard stop coming up here. But,
mhm,
when it comes to caregiving, you just don't ever know. I mean, I watched my mother, and I may have told you guys this, I watched my mother take care of my father, who died of brain cancer, but she took care of him at home, quit her job, and took care of him as a caregiver. Then she took care of my grandmother, her mother, till she passed away, as a caregiver in the home. What I didn't realize, and I'm sharing this with you, is that, God had already ordained and planted it that I was going to be the caregiver. I just didn't know it. I'm saying that to say it. And trust me, when it's divine intervention, you might be prepared. You don't even know it until it happens. So it took me taking care of my mother to realize that, God had already preordained I was going to take care of, be a caregiver. Because that definitely wasn't my plan. Okay. When my son came to stay with me at 15 years old, I was single and the bachelor pad, the whole kid caboodle. I had to bring
yeah,
all that to a halt when he came. He's doing so,
Right.
just don't
the
check
woman
it.
to say is what well,
Right.
we do what
Where?
is New I'm going. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
it could be.
Well, I New York City, you're gonna be max.
You're right about that. I'm just, if it
All
comes to
right.
the opportunity to go out.
You got it. No, that's
Mhm.
the thing. Be accept. Okay.
Yeah, I already know givers, but personal care is a very important part
Absolutely.
of caregiving.
Right,
Absolutely.
right.
I don't
Yeah.
ever want to, of course, make myself feel like that I couldn't do something, or I couldn't enjoy, or like my life was just terrible, miserable, to where I didn't get to go explore or something like that because I was a caregiver. No, even with 2 autistic children, nonverbal daughters, and 4 other ones. If there's a time where I want to go out, I'm gonna have fun, where with my sisters or my aunties or my grandparents, or a girls' night or something like that, I'm gonna make that time, even if it's complicated. I might call them 1,000 times, but I'm gonna go enjoy myself.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
Hold up, mom's having another drink. Hold up.
Mid sip of mimosa. How's she doing? Did she take her? Did she eat her gummy? Did she take?
So Kenny, we gonna have to work on you. We gotta work on you, Kenny. We gotta do a man's trip.
Yeah. Get them out the
Loosen
house.
up.
Take and go with us and let Ebony stay on with the kids and get away for a day or two.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna come back and we're gonna do this vice versa as well, where he stays with me and I'm gonna get out.
Listen, this Arkansas is sounding more and more pretty nice, like man's trip on 4:30, Friday, Saturday, if we get down there. You think you could flex your schedule, Kenny?
I mean, we could try. We could try it.
Oh, we got him. We got him. I see it. That's all. We got him. I got him. Get us a bottle of bourbon, some cigars. We're gonna come and just snatch you up.
That's some basketball tickets. Come get them.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's go ahead and finish this up, since I know we're short on time.
Yeah.
That is it for this edition of the Caregivers Network. If you like what you hear, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. If there's a topic you'd like for us to explore in the future, please add that to your comments. You can also check us out at cgn1.org and leave a request, a question, or a comment. Thanks for joining the Caregivers Network.
And Kenny and Ebony, remember, as we said, to shoot for the stars. And even if you miss, you'll still be amongst your friends.
Yes, sir.
Thank you again so much for joining us for part 2. I can't wait to come see you two in person.
Yeah, we definitely need to stay in touch. And to Kenny's point, I can start planning some stuff now that I got a date and can make some things happen. Or so, if this is God's will, we're going to try to make it down there. And I just want you to be spread. I have a hidden agenda to express, the Caregivers Network's mission and objective, and just have a good time with people down there. And get Kenny out
Get him out.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody.